Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is Time Machine Tuesday, our latest installment of our series on the year 1996 in hip hop. We've gone through a lot, right? We went through the year of Tupac. We talked about what was going on down south. We got into a lot of different East Coast stuff, talked about the singles of the year, and now we wrap it up, talk about the West Coast. Shout out to my man Jason England, who's helped us out with half of these, and my man now, DJ Wally Sparks.
What's happening?
Wrapping this thing up, bringing it home. What's going on, dog?
I can't complain, big brother. I'm chilling, man. You know, happy to be here.
You know, putting off Chattanooga with the
all time, man. 423, baby, let's go. You know
I tell you, you and I have talked about this before. The cities that have minor league baseball teams have a real cheat code over their peers who don't, because y'all got a hat.
Yep. We can represent everywhere we go.
Yeah. Your little town ain't got no minor league baseball team, man. You just got to wear some shirt that makes some reference to the violence in your town.
Right. Exactly.
Killer City, fool.
Yeah, man. I remember when I was touring, probably like 10 or 12 years ago, man. I was in Vancouver, Canada, and I was walking some retail space or whatever, just, you know, doing what tourists do. And I looked up in there and I saw a Lookouts hat, man. I had never felt such a large sense of pride in my life, bro. I was like, that. Like, we all over the world, baby.
It's so funny. Y'all all over iOS. Y'all the what you call it?
Emoji. Oh, the emojis.
The big eye emoji.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
The year 1996 in West Coast rap, to me, is interesting. And I'm curious to know on a few levels what you think about this, but I think it's somewhat important, especially for like younger people who were not around at the time to kind of build to this, right? So on this series, we'd already talked a lot about Tupac, and we'll talk a little bit more about him, obviously, in this. And the year was his. But I feel like a big part of that with Tupac was we had associated, like, even if we associated Tupac with Oakland, it did kind of feel in some ways like Tupac kind of belonged to everybody, because that Me Against the World album, right? With like the Easy Mo B joints and everything else. Like, I don't feel like that is an album that is particular to a place. And then he came out and he became the ultimate patriot for California, right?
Yeah.
Like, he put on harder for that than anything else. But it's also worth noting that run of time, the West Coast was kind of running the game. Like, he went and jumped on the winning team.
It was like, so this is the way I look at Tupac, his discography. Like, you got like Tupac Lives Now, Strictly For My, and then Me Against the World. That's MC New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when he got out of prison and he went to death row, that's when we got like the Pac that we all know now. And, you know, it's like, I've never seen anybody decide that they were going to be, you know, the spokesperson for a city like he became the spokesperson for Los Angeles when he went to death row. You know what I mean?
Right. The spokesperson nobody asked for.
And he was adamant to live and die in LA, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you this though, if I had just got let out of Clinton Max, and then you take me out, and you drop me off in LA with a pocket full of money as the hottest thing on the streets, I can't imagine how dope LA would be.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure he had a little too much fun.
Right. But like for him, because like Oakland with like the Panther tradition and all of that stuff, right? Like it was a fit. His fit with Digital Underground, like all of that was there. But LA, as much as Oakland hip hop and Bay Area hip hop obviously had a foothold, it was LA that for that mid part of the 90s with the Death Row run, you know, and other things too, because I think it's easy to think about LA rap just being centered around like LA was big enough where you got The Chronic and Bizarre Ride to the Far Side coming out in the same year, right? Like there was a bit more range as to what was going on there, but they took over the game in a lot of ways. Like New York still had it, I think, in a volume sense. But the top, it was them LA cats.
Yeah, Death Row was kind of like the epicenter of hip hop during that time. Like it was like everything was in Death Row's orbit. Like, I mean, I'm just talking across the board. I'm not just talking just about like California rap. I'm talking about like everything that was happening was, there was some sort of G-funk influence going on, no matter where you were, whether it was you making music in the Bay. There was a dude in Memphis, right, that had this indie record named Player G called, and this album's called Pimp Shit. And it's basically just a straight up G-funk record. Just a dude in Memphis talking about murdering and killing and pimping, you know what I mean? But over some like super duper jamming beats that sound like, a Dr. Dre impression. Yeah. So I mean, that's the type of influence and foothold that the music that was coming out of that Death Row camp had on the entire country at the time.
Hey man, we talked about T-Mix before, but T-Mix did some incredible Dr. Dre impressions.
Yeah, and and that's not even a slight to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I was about to say, and I wasn't no shade, but there are tracks that you come across where you're like, like on the Just Trying to Live Devin the Dude record, I feel like that there's a T-Mix beat that I had thought was a Dre beat forever. Yeah. I think the sum of them joint.
That's probably, that's probably why Dre wanted to work with Devin.
Yes.
Hearing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Dre hears Devin. Dre is like, ooh, I can do something with that voice.
Yeah.
Devin is one of the few people that Dr. Dre has heard and been like, oh, let me get that. Yeah. Who also actually could make records.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre was like the Bill Belichick, a rap. I go get Jonas Gray and he run for 200 yards against me, and then we gonna release him, and nobody else is ever gonna play him.
Yep.
I can get him 200 yards.
Right. I mean, he turned Julian Edelman into a almost Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Julian Edelman ain't that much taller than me. You know what I'm saying?
You say Julian Edelman is the hitman of the RBX.
Yeah, man. Exactly. That's exactly what he is.
But we could actually start here with this and talking about it, because it is very interesting how many people, like when 96 comes around, we talk about with Tupac is on top of everything. But the mainstays of Death Row were Dr. Dre and Snoop. And 1996, what is interesting and somewhat defining about them is those two brothers were lost in the wilderness.
Without each other, bro. They need each other. You know what I'm saying? They 100% need each other. Because, both of that year, Dre made his first post-Death Row album, and Snoop made his first Death Row album without Dr. Dre.
Yes.
And both of them suffered because they were not working with each other.
Yo, it's a very, like, not working with each other type of thing. MC Ren, who I love Ren. I think Ren is, like, crazily underrated. Lost in the Wilderness forever after the Ruthless thing broke up. He put out a record in 96 too. Like, there are the scraps of what was popping like around Dr. Dre for the early part of the 90s in 96. It's like they're all out there and nobody knows what to do. And I do want to talk about that Aftermath record first, because I want to say this both about Aftermath and when we get to the Doggfather. I try my best to go back and listen to records that I did not like when they came out, because it is entirely possible that what I didn't like about them was just some shit I was feeling that day or whatever it was, right? Mm-hmm. And so, sometimes you go back and you're like, oh, that was a little better than I thought it was. And I tried that with the Aftermath record, and the Aftermath record was exactly as mediocre as I thought it was. He was, we talked about this also when we get, with me and Jason talking about some of the East Coast stuff. It's also the year that Dre did Nas Is Coming. And Nas Is Coming, which is, it's a well done beat, right? It's kind of a little bit of like post Sam Snead Dre.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing too about Dre beats. Dre beats are often about, so who were you working with at the time? Like, whose vibe did you take to the next level? Because that Sam Snead run was incredible, right? The Natural Born Killers era Dre was like, ooh, I like what we're doing here.
Yeah, this could be something.
Right. Man, we ain't have none of that. And he had these kind of really big beats with a lot of different tracks, right? Like there was a lot going on with them, which is kind of wild because Dre was minimalism was always the thing that really worked for him.
Yeah.
That's not how I felt about them Aftermath beats. And then on top of it, he had to kind of sort of be the star to carry it, because after The Chronic comes out, he's an actual factual star without being able to really rap. And so what that means is one day you look up, this motherfucker out here doing the tango with Jennifer Lopez. And we didn't know that it was Jennifer Lopez. We just knew that it was Dr. Dre doing the tango over a song that was all about what Dr. Dre tried to become in 1996, because he tried to figure out which way the wind was blowing. And he was like, you know what? Gangster rap is over.
Yep.
And I am going to be the one to say the gangster rap is over. Like, it's almost like he's a precursor to, not in terms of like the sound, but like Jay-Z and them cats and Puffy try to go to the suits.
Yeah.
Right? To be like, yo, no, we off the streets now. We on the suit kick. Dre tried that first and it failed.
Dr. Dre and during this period of time that we're talking about, he was like Phil Jackson with the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Like you've had years of success. You know what I mean? Years and years and years of success. And, now you kind of all alone with this, this island of misfit toys and trying to make something shake. Mm-hmm. And you believe in that your skill level and your expertise is going to get you over the hump. And I ain't gonna do nothing to get you to the hump and have you stand at it, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
It's like what? But what if Phil Jackson went to the Knicks in between the Bulls and the Lakers?
Right, yeah,
right,
yeah.
Like what if he, or what if in the beginning of Phil Jackson's second stint with the Lakers, there was no Kobe? Mm-hmm. Like all he had was Smush Parker in them. Because you go back through and look at the people who were on this record, which is also in large part an attempt at being an R&B record. But to be fair to Dr. Dre's produced some cold ass R&B records. Like,
yeah, he has.
Yeah, that was not him.
He did.
Yeah, the Michelet record, right? Mm-hmm. Like this was not him stepping out of himself.
No.
However, you read through the credits and it's like, I don't know who any of these people are that are on here. Like, what are we doing? Whose idea with this? And why did you only produce like half the beats? How lost are you right now?
He was definitely trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I bet you this though. I bet you he made more record off that Aftermath record than he made off of everything he had done combined before that.
I believe that. I definitely believe that. You know what's a good indicator of how lost in the sauce Dre might have been when he was making this record was his kind of his peaceful salvo to kind of like quash the East Coast West Coast beef, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna make a record with some East Coast cats and some West Coast cats. This is supposed to be like a peace offering, right?
Yes.
But he names the song East Coast Killer, West Coast Killer.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? and bro, what a combination of MCs, man. You got what, Be Real and RBX representing the West, and KRS-One and Nas representing the East.
Yeah.
That seems imbalanced a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I was about to say, if it was a fight,
it wasn't gonna be no contest.
It wasn't gonna take a long time.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't gonna be no contest at all, bro.
On one side, we got arguably two of the five best rappers ever.
Of all time.
Right? Depending on who you are. That's who we got on one side. On the other side, we got drop bombs like Hiroshima.
Yeah, and you got, one of the greatest potheads of all time.
Who called him Mr. Nasal? I can't remember who that was that called him Mr. Nasal. Cypress Hill, I wish they had put a record out this year because they are kind of fascinating to me, like as an act to discuss. Whose first album, classic.
Yeah.
No way around it. It sounds a little like it's hard to appreciate what was going on at the time if you try to go back and listen to it now because the sound quality is not super high or anything else. But they sold a gazillion records and they never changed. But white folks jumped on it so hard, their brothers was kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, when y'all got that. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not like what happened really changed. And it's not like it sounded that much different than the first record that we were all about.
Yeah. I mean, Cypress Hill, to their credit, they never really their fans changed. They didn't really change at all.
Right.
They're like I kind of see them as like our the hip hop jam band. Like they're our Grateful Dead or our Fish or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see Cypress Hill in totality.
Yeah. And Be Real is one of those rappers that reminds you that producers really just care how your voice sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I can do something with that.
Yep.
Like it's like a drum sound in a pack.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's like that Mob Deep snare on The Infamous. Like, yo, we could use this everywhere. Right?
You know
Kanye
I mean?
with the explosive drums.
Yeah, the Ninth Wonder had, when he first jumped on the scene, he had that snare that it was the Ninth Wonder snare that everybody was, using almost every record.
Yep, and that is Be Real.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Dre was so lost, like people would not know. We thought it was over.
Yeah, I think.
And it's so wild because California Love had just come out early in the year. So it wasn't like we hadn't heard him drop any heat no time soon.
He wasn't that far removed from actual hit records. Which
he did the mix of the dog food joint.
That makes it even way more fascinating that the space between Super Duper Jam and what's happening right here it seemed like such an immediate, I don't even want to call it a fall off because I think that'd be a little bit disrespectful, but it was a step back in a direction that he hadn't been going, especially coming off, Dre had like he just had a three-peat.
Right.
The Chronic, Doggy Style, Dog Food.
Brother, you say a three-peat. This is what I think gets lost with Dre. The entire run between Straight Outta Compton and The Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of classics in there.
Yep.
Like not just some, now that you look back on it. The Above the Law joint.
Yeah.
The DOC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy Does It.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas for Life.
Mm-hmm. 100 Miles of Running.
100 Miles of Running. I feel like there's a few other things that just kind of pop, like a handful of things that pop up in there. The Deep Cover joint, right? Like that was the introduction to Death Row was the Deep Cover single.
Yep.
Like his run from 88 to 95 is actually somehow underrated because we don't actually act like stuff matters until until Tupac and Big come around.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had it all, and then he put this shit out.
Bro, it's like it's Emmitt Smith for the Cardinals, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like what is happening here?
It's but it's like, what if Emmitt Smith went to the Cardinals and he was 27, right?
Yeah,
like by the time Emmitt Smith went to the Cardinals, it had been a bit of a decline,
Mm-hmm.
Like, or put it like this: the Source Awards were just the year before.
Yeah, man, that was a strange time for Dre, bro.
Yeah, but imagine this though. Imagine that you have to try to separate yourself from the hottest thing going.
Yep. You gotta completely isolate yourself from it.
Yeah, that's not good for business.
No.
And that's what he was asked to do. Meanwhile, Snoop is over there. Death Row is a crazy house right now. And imagine you put out the biggest debut record anybody can think of or anybody can remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not even a man at your own label no more.
But they also expect you to be the franchise player still.
Yes. But imagine how that feels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say again, it's crazy town over there right now. Like it's full on chaos. Like it's easy to forget this. Tupac dies in September of 96. Machiavelli comes out right after this. The Doggfather comes out in November. Right? Like this is everything that's going on. And the Doggfather is another one where what I think Dre never gets enough credit for, and a buddy of mine made this point to me, he is the best vocal producer there has ever been. There are so many cats, like we talked about this with all these guys here and there. There's so many cats that have only really sounded like that or been that dope with Dre, right? Yep. As much as I say that about Ren, I think Ren is kind of an example of that, right? Yep. Like, we don't give Ren credit that, like, he's the only dude on Niggas for Life that wrote his own raps and was killing it on every track, right? But it's all these guys. Yep.
But yeah, man, I agree, especially for rap music as Dre as a vocal producer, because he gets the most out of every vocal performance that he ever puts his hands on. Like we had just referenced 6'2", you know what I mean? And Devin the dude, like he had, and Devin was Devin and 6'2" is 6'2", but you got other cats, RBX, we know RBX because of his voice, but we know RBX's voice because of how Dre produced his voice.
Right. Right. Hitman.
Yeah, there you go.
There's no reason after 2001 that Hitman ain't next. Hitman is all over that record and dope everywhere on that record.
Yeah.
But also, when you hit your wagon to Dr. Dre, your shit might never come out. But Doggfather, it's a lot of dope producers on Doggfather. Like, it is the bedrock of the West Coast sound that is there. Like, you can't say it wasn't because he had production. He had production.
He did.
He just didn't have it.
I like the first single, the Snoop's Upside Your Head.
Upside Your Head.
Yeah, so I like that first single. And I was like, okay, this is a smart direction to go if Dre ain't gonna be there, right? And then I started, getting to the album, and what you said about the Aftermath album, I kind of did the same with this album, but I landed a little differently. I was like, okay, this is not as bad as I thought it was. You know what I mean? But that's in due part to what you're saying, that the breadth of producers that were working on this record. Because I think that's kind of the way you had to do it. You kind of had to Illmatic that album because as I said, Snoop, especially post Tupac's death, he was already the franchise player to begin with. Then you got this this supernova that is Tupac that comes in and then kind of steals the thunder a little bit. And now Tupac's gone, and now you got to be the man again. So they let's get the best of the best on the West Coast and just throw them all at Snoop at one time and see what happens.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're going, you have to build a record around Snoop.
Yep.
Right. You can't just be like, all right, we got Snoop.
Yep.
It don't really matter what the beats are. Yeah, it does.
And Snoop's like that. Snoop is not one of those. He's not one of those people that will not let you produce him. He actually, I've seen clips of him in studios like, bro, tell me what to do so I can give you the best version of the record that you need.
Yeah. No, he has I think that's if you come up with Dre, right? He know what them, like, you and I have talked about this a lot. The idea of who produced Doggy Style. And you'll have the people who make the argument that Daz really produced it and Dre just came in at the end.
And cleaned it up.
Yeah, but you and I, like, what was that? The original version of Ain't No Fun?
Mm-hmm.
You listen to that and then you listen to the finished version of Ain't No Fun and you understand what's going on here.
Yep.
Right? Like Daz made some beats. Dre came in and was like, yeah, very good ones, in fact.
Yeah.
Dre came in and was like, yeah, but like you're on the way. And so if you Snoop and you've seen what that change is, then you're like, hell yeah. What y'all need me to do, partner?
Mm-hmm.
What y'all need? But yeah, the LA Orbit was interesting that year. Ren put out The Villain in Black. Nobody really likes it, but it's not bad. MC8 put out a record. That is not my cup of tea, but people love MC8. People very
I was a big BMW fan, man. Like Music to Drive-By is one of my favorite Compton's Most Wanted albums. That album's really good. It's got a really dope song with Scarface on it. Like really good.
He's another dude where it's like, I'm sure people are just out there like, yo, voice.
Yeah. Chill.
And I'm just like, yeah. Or Gia, you're right. I kind of guess super slow rappers.
Yeah, I did. I'm a Project Pat guy, so I like people that speak slow and syrupy.
So it's interesting. I like Project Pat.
Right.
I like Project Pat. Is MC8 in particular that I'm just kind of like, yeah, dog, if you insist. Right. But I will say this though. MC8 was not showing up if the beats weren't there.
No, that's one of the reasons I think I enjoy Compton's Most Wanted, their discography, because man, oh man, do they ever have some fantastic music that their 8 is rapping over. You know what I mean?
Yes. By the way, also interesting about this year, we're talking about Dr. Dre, is this is also the year where Suge was just being spiteful and put out all those other joints.
Yeah.
Like the Dr. Dre back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a second round, like first round knockout or something like that. Yeah. He was just like, yeah, man, we just gonna flood the streets. Nobody has ever really hated harder on somebody, even though you're the one that stole from him. Quite like
man.
Suge was with Dre at the end there.
That's how bullies get down, man. Say like, I'm gonna take for you, and then be like, I'm mad that you left because I took from you. You know what I mean? That's how they get down.
Yeah, man. But look, coming up next, I don't want people to think I'll be doing is talk about what wasn't cracking on the West, because there was another album that came out of LA that it was a statement. It's interesting to look back on. Coming up next. Ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. Visit FanDuel.com/Bomani to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 plus and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kansas, Wyoming. Opt-in requirement. Awards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsduel.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
It's the biggest time of year for college basketball, the tournament. Teams face off against each other until it's down to the final two. Along the way, there are surprises, comebacks, and upsets. It's anyone's game. Well, regardless of who makes it to the final round, one thing's for certain. It takes the most talented people to build these incredible teams. The same goes when you're hiring. If you want your business to be at the top of its game, you need the best people on your team. The place to find them? ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter's smart matching technology immediately finds qualified candidates that check all of your boxes. ZipRecruiter recommends screening questions you can easily add to get the highest quality applicants. Score the best for your team with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Bomani. That's ziprecruiter.com/Bomani. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. All right, we are back with DJ Wally Sparks. By the way, I was thinking about wearing that shirt to put on for the homie, but the homie put on for himself. Check that out at djwallysparks.com if you can't see it. Yep. Antoine and Andre and Bernard and Chad and Primrose and Marlon. You know what I'm saying?
If you know, baby.
That's right. That's right. 96 is the year the Westside Connection record came out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting to me to think about the fact that even after all the success, especially of the NWA cats, right? Mm-hmm. All of them went platinum solo, including Ren, who went platinum with a record called Kiss My Black Ass. It was an EP.
Yeah, I remember that.
He still sold 1 million copies of it. But Cube, Mac 10, and Dub C did the Westside Connection album because they're like, how is it we got the #1 album in America and we still can't get no play in New York? And look, New York got 8 million people. Like, not getting play in New York is a big deal in terms of your money. Now, getting play in Houston might have made you more money because we bought records, but it was still a thing. And that Westside Connection record, bang.
Yeah, man. That record, in my opinion, kind of saved Ice Cube, the rapper. Ice Cube, the rapper, had kind of almost faded away at this point.
Right.
The way we remember Ice Cube, the rapper. But then this happened, and it was like, oh, okay, he's still there. You know, he's still there. You know what I mean?
The East Coast, West Coast beef, Tupac thing, that was a one-man beef, right? Like, that wasn't really quite the thing, though it became a thing because he said it was a thing. But this was the thing that really caused people issues in the industry, was the insularity of New York City. And it's like the idea of, like, for those of you who are familiar with the no-fly zone thing with Detroit, where Trick's insistence that you got to put somebody local on the bill if you're going to play a show here. it's born of stuff like this. The idea that New York could show up to your city and put on a show and do everything else, and you would get love, but they had nothing for you when you came up there. How true it was is its own discussion. The perception, however, was undeniable. And so the Westside Connection album was a straight pushback on the idea that, like, what we got to do, man. That's what they're saying. What we got to do. And I feel like they should have called that group Two and Impossible, because it was Dub C is dope as fuck. Right? Cube is now somehow strangely very underrated. But Cube to me is the best rapper from the West Coast ever.
Yeah.
I understand now Kendrick is the guy we all talk about now. No. Kendrick does not have the first three and change of the Ice Cube catalog, right? The America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, Kill at Will, and The Predator.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
And all the NWA stuff.
That's right. And then I think Dre got Cube lost, because Cube went from the Bomb Squad beats to, again, that Death Certificate is kind of like bedrock West Coast stuff, but it sounded very different than the G-Funk.
Yes, it did.
Right? And so then by the time he comes around Lethal Injection, which is a G-Funk record, it's kind of like, I don't know about this one, but he came back out swinging with Bow Down.
Yeah. And at that point in time, Cube had, Friday had come out, it had been successful, and, he was in Trespass and all these other movies, and Cube was doing he was doing the media mogul stuff.
Yeah.
I'm acting in Higher Learning, doing all these other things. He was doing all this non-rapper stuff, right? And I think people seeing Cube in that sort of light made people think like, I don't even say made people think. I'll just bring it to me. Made me think like, is Cube gonna rap again?
Right.
Or rap the way I remember Cube rapping? But, I hear Bow Down. I'm like, oh, he's still there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's still there. And I think him being in a group dynamic and not having to shoulder the load of being a full-on solo album probably is what helped bring that fire back out of him. You know what I mean? Like, you got Dub, you got Mac 10, and you got somebody that's sort of a peer, and then you got a guy that's a little younger, and you like the OG wisdom in the middle, or the voice of reason of sorts. And now you can just be Ice Cube the rapper and not have to worry about shouldering the load like that. I think that was real beneficial to him when that Westside, because Q was talking that shit on that album. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
He had also been in like 8 beefs around then. Like,
I got backup now, man. You think about that, man. Q was taking on a lot. Pause. But but he was 8. Who was it? Common? Who else did he beef with?
He had to beef with Common. Remember, King of the Hill is all Westside Connection because he had to beef with Be Real.
I forgot about that.
He had to beef. He had to beef with King's son.
Yep.
From way back whenever, when they was having to keep Cube safe. There was he had to beef with the Whoop Whoop Cat.
Oh, Cam. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like people in Whoop Whoop with the video where they just got the dude like smack the shit out of the dude that's clearly Ice Cube.
Yep.
In the video, I feel like this, but he No Vaseline was earlier, but the first like 5 or 6 years of the 90s, he was in beef with somebody all the time. He had a beef with Ice-T at some point.
Man, they were in the film together.
Yeah, he had a beef with everybody. So I think it is lost in there. Like this was necessary for him.
Yeah.
To have this album come back swinging. And then Dub C is interesting because Coolio, rest in peace. Coolio's solo career, not at all indicative of the reason Coolio gets a shout out on Doggy Style, is because WC in the Mad Circle is a completely different situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coolio's like a predecessor to Flow Rider, where people they have a perception of Coolio
Right.
Because they think Fantastic Voyage and Gangsta's Paradise. It's a little bit more to Coolio than that, buddy.
Yeah.
And same with Flow Rider. Like a lot of people don't realize Flow Rider, when he jumped off the porch, he was doing like him and Pitbull actually. They were kind of like a little bit more gangstified than what their current, situation is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Coolio was definitely a predecessor to both of them in that same sort of way where, it would be wise not to run up on Coolio.
That is correct. That is the best list in rap to put together is those cats, right? Redman, MC Hammer, Black Thought.
Yeah.
Series of gentlemen that, oh boy, he think he got jokes, huh? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, be careful what you say. Be careful how you move.
Yes, the all-time great big boy line, run up on Hammer.
Yeah.
Run up on Hammer. Hammer, whoop your monkey.
You know what I'm saying? Beat the brakes off you, bro.
Yeah, but Dub C is the crippinest rapping crip there has ever been, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's between him and Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop, I don't think anybody cripped in our faces harder than Snoop with all the Pittsburgh stuff.
Bro, he took it mainstream.
Yo, people really think he a Steelers fan. He carried that on. Oh, yeah. I love the Steelers. Woo.
Mm-hmm. Bro, it's amazing. It's amazing what Snoop has been able to accomplish as a career. Because it's so many things like these, like what we talk about now, like inside baseball type things that if you know what's happening, but it on the surface it looks like a completely different thing.
Look, man, I wrote an article in 2003, 10 years after Doggy Style, right? And it was just how crazy it was that at that time he was doing like what commercial was that? Wait one manizzle, right? Like he was doing that. That was now almost 25 years ago, and it hasn't gotten any less crazy. Like the role that he has taken in this after being the most terrifying rapper that anybody thought was. Now, granted, that was always overblown. Like nobody thought he killed that dude.
Yeah.
But even still, the fact that he got to the place that he could, where he hangs with Martha Stewart and all of this.
Snoop Dogg might be the safest rapper in rap right now.
Yes.
Which is crazy to say.
Yes.
Considering where he began.
If you were here.
Yeah, if you lived through Snoop's whole career, saw his start to where he is now, it's like night and day.
Yep. But I tell you this, a West Coast record, we get to the Bay on this because I think there's two really dope and like necessary Bay records to talk about in particular. Not that they're the only two, but one, Too Short, getting it album number 10 that he told us was the last record that he always knew was a lie, but it still felt like it was the last record and it was jamming.
Especially the first single, bro. That's the title track, Getting It.
Oh, dude, but the title track and then behind it is Buy You Some.
Oh, bro, so good, so good. You know the thing about that album, I think the reason it's celebrated in the history of rap the way it is because I think Short might have been the first rapper to get to 10 albums. Because thinking back at that time, I remember there was a time where people were celebrating Big Daddy Kane because he made it to 5. Because no rapper had ever made 5 albums before, and Short getting to 10, like that at 1996. That seemed like an impossible feat.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Considering, as I mentioned in our previous conversations, the way records got made back then was completely different the way they get made now. Like 10 albums ain't nothing. Y'all can make 10 albums in 10 days if I want to now. But back then, especially somebody like Short who was on a major label, you know what I mean? Like all his records came out on a major. And for him to reach 10 albums, starting from what 80, in the mid 80s and always, that's a decade, a rapper that lasted a decade. It was unheard of back then. And on top of that, that might be one of Short's best albums.
It is. And the arc of Short and the catalog, like from Born to Mac all the way around. Because let's be honest, they ain't all good, but they are all jamming, right? And a lot of it is like sophomoric and ridiculous, like teenage type sex songs and like the pimping thing or whatever. But when that dude is on and that he's in a pocket,
man, ain't nobody better.
Yeah, he's one of those. He ain't gonna win no battle, right? Not like the all-time great MC, but really good at making records. Like, again, the type of rapper that a producer is like, yeah, come on over here. I got something for you.
Too Short is like the ultimate versus artist. Like he win a versus every time. Just because he got jams for days.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's jams for days, and it's jams for people who drive cars and have knock in the trunk of those cars.
Or I guess we should say slaps in this context. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Too Short is you better tighten up that license plate on the back of your car. All right, Too Short gonna test that.
Yeah, that truck gonna be rattling.
Yeah, like we talk about Bayou Song, which I didn't realize. I thought that Eric Sermon had done the beat just because Sermon was rapping on it. But I guess this is also Too Short's Atlanta era, right? Like this is right around when he moved down the street from my parents. Represent Money, Bayou Song with a super dude, MC Breed. Breed is like, I feel like Breed's an MC that everybody, if you bring it up, everybody likes Breed, but like Breed does not have an album that people think about across the board. Whatever. He has an absolute unequivocal classic single.
Yep.
Ain't no future in your front. He's from a place that even now never really, this is from Michigan, right?
Flint. Yeah, he's from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, so like he at a time where there was no like geographical mooring for him at the time. But he jumps on this one. Woo, boy.
Goes crazy. And he had a record with Pac.
He did. And it's another banger.
A banger. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get mine. Gotta get yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Bree was definitely Bree's definitely somebody that should be spoken of a lot more.
Yeah, where are you on the E40 Hall of Game record?
I am a big I love that record. I mean, Back to Short, like that's Rapper's Ball is from that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got Casey and JoJo. That was the Bay version of How Do You Want It? You know what I'm saying?
Don't want to freestyle, man. Don't rap for free, man.
Yeah, man. Like 96 was I think there was a bit of a transition where the rap from that was coming out of LA. We spoke intensively about the Dre and Death Row of it all and how things were changing. I think in 96 the same thing was happening in the inverse for Bay Area rap music, because you got E40, you had the Too Short 10 album thing, you also got the Loonies with I Got 5 on it making, and then you had other cats like Selly Cell had that big single that had the Key Sweat sample in it.
Yep, and he came out this year too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So and then you had even like a underground rapper like Mac Mall. He had signed to a major that year. He had signed to Relativity Records and put out that Intouchable album. Like there was a lot happening in the Bay Area at that time that I don't want to say gets glossed over, but because of the sheer dominance and like I mentioned before, how everything was in the Death Row orbit, I think kind of gets maybe a little lost in translation, and people don't think about all the things that were happening in the Bay back at that time. Right.
Let us also not forget about the Hall of Game. The homie dissing the homie. The record starts with a Rasheed Wallace diss. Because Rasheed is a super hip hop head from Philly, and this is the mid 90s. And I think he was on Rap City. And Joe Claire was asking him about what he was into. And he was like, I don't fool with the Goody Mob. And I don't fool with them E40s. And E40 took that incredibly personally.
Yeah. E40 is another one of those, watch what you say. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't run up on him.
Yeah. Let me tell you this though. But
everybody knows the story about how he got Biggie isolated.
Ran up on Biggie. And Biggie apologized.
You know what I'm saying?
My bad, dog. Hey, and I props to Biggie on that one too.
Yep.
Hey man, sometimes you're wrong, right? Yep. Just hey man, you got it, big dog. You got it. Now, 40 as an MC is interesting to me because I prefer late stage 40 over that era of 40. Because at that era of 40, I would have loved to heard like an E40 record with Dre to be like, hey, chill out a little bit, dog. Right? Like in the Busta Rhymes camp of you're doing a lot right now, man.
Yeah, I think that's what is endearing about E40 is that he really, really does a lot.
Yeah.
He does a whole lot. And that definitely lends to his uniqueness. You know, like he is the slang master, bro. You know,
But it's just that, but it's not just the slang. Like it's a lot of syllables. It's a lot of up down. It's a lot of like, hey, the beat, it's right there. It's right there. Come on back, big dog. Come on back. I mean, you didn't leave it. I'm not saying you left, but you got a little close there. Come on back. But he also had all-time ear for beats.
Yes, he did. Shout out to Studio Tone though. You know, that was kind of like the Sick Witted Records in-house producer. You know,
yeah.
Even Pimp C referenced him in Murder. Like I was at the studio with Tone, man. I wish I could stay.
That's the Tone Capone.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's Scarface loves Tone Capone.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he was making all those records, those Click and E40 and B Legit and D-Shot records. He was all over all that stuff, man.
Yeah. Scarface, I think it was in his book. He said he had Tone Capone as like top 5 producer ever.
I can see that. I could totally see that.
Also not mistaken, he also has Scarface on that list. Scarface got beats, I will note, but just to give a measure of context on what Scarface's taste in beats are. First of all, me.
Yeah, there you go.
But this was also, I forgot the year that the Crips and the Bloods put out Banging on Wax.
Oh man, Pyru Love, man. Pyru Love got that kind of jumped off here in Chattanooga rather, where I was at. But yeah, that was an interesting time.
I think what you just said though, I think gets to something else interesting that could be if you weren't around for people to understand. I always say in rap, the West Coast really started at like Birmingham.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like like in Houston, definitely. If you ask people which way they were going, not even in a beef, just in terms of sonically what they was about, it was that West Coast sound with the live instrumentation, like leaning on a different sample. It's not simply the records they were sampling, right? Because like De La Soul was sampling P-Funk, right? It's not as though the West Coast, but it was the way that they were doing this. Like that sound of the West Coast, I've always felt like the reason it also caught on so big and with white people, which is its own discussion, but sonically what people were about west of the East Coast. Look, the East Coast is just the coast. The rest of the nation, I felt like, was really rocking West Coast music in a way, but it didn't really feel like that after 96.
Yeah, things changed. Things definitely changed. Like, but to your point, like, all that stuff that was being made from the late 80s early into the mid 90s from the West Coast, it would like especially down south. It was getting serious love. Like, you know, it wouldn't be unlikely to find somebody that lived in Tennessee or Georgia for that matter, or Mississippi or Alabama. To you know, they say, who's your favorite rapper? And they say Too Short. You know what I mean? I mean, you even had the homie in Dallas that sounded like Too Short, Ron C. You remember him?
Yes.
You know, like that's just an example of the type of influence that West Coast music had on the rest of the country that was not the Eastern Seaboard, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, man, West Coast rap music in particular had a real stranglehold on the hip hop populace for a really, 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 really long time. And, you know, it's evidenced in some of the longevity, like, you know, the 40s and the Pacs and Dre making the dud of his career and then coming back with one of his best records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of that's possible. Like Snoop having his issues with Death Row, leaving Death Row, going to No Limit, and then coming back to Dre and starting to make Snoop and Dre records again. You know what I mean? Like all of that is a testament to how how deep rooted the influence of West Coast hip hop had on the nation.
By the way, I almost forgot one record. And actually thinking about this record made me to remind. Shout out to the homies Sadat X. He probably out there listening because I forgot to mention Wild Cowboys when we did the episode on East Coast rap, and that's on me. But that was a good one too. But I thought of that because this is the year the Ras Kass put out Soul on Ice, and I'm not really here to talk about the entire Soul on Ice album. I have a good friend who is adamant that Nature of the Threat ensured the Ras Kass would never catch on in rap because they was never going to let him because he was spitting too much truth in that crazy ass record. Mm-hmm. It's not even really, it didn't seem that crazy at the time because it was in line with a certain sensibility. But you go back and you're like, yeah, they was never going to let you on after this.
No, not after this. I said, nah, man, you talking too much like right. We got to leave you right where you at, buddy.
No, like I'm just like Nature of the Threat. I do miss the days. Again, I miss the days that we had rappers that was hanging out, at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Getting them books and coming to kick us knowledge.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ras Kass's twin sons, man. The group Coast Contra. They really, really dope. So if you if you're looking for some new hip hop that's actually good, and if you like people that can rhyme, I would suggest that you give Coast Contra a listen. They're pretty good.
I am looking at these records because I've not listened to this record in a really long time. Hey, he did a lot of reading before he wrote this song.
I bet he did.
He had, well, actually, I'm not, at the very least, he did a lot of note taking, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this is a serious amount of information about the history of the world that he is put forth in. Let me get the time right on this. 7 minutes and 43 seconds.
That's a whole lot of words, bro.
Yo, and the idea that you could get that on a record at that point and then everybody would be like, yeah, let's do that. Like, can you imagine what would happen right now if like one of the Migos showed up and was like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do?
Yeah, I'm about to kick a near 8 minute knowledge session.
Yeah, the knowledge again. That's another one. I think Jay-Z, who used to be a very knowledge inclined sort of rapping dude. Jay-Z was down with the technology. You know what I'm saying? He was down with the mathematics. What shit is garbage? But you try to kick knowledge. Knowledge kicking was over.
Turned around.
At that point, there was no more room. I miss knowledge kickers. I know that sometimes they was wrong. That wasn't the point.
It's fun to listen to, though.
Yeah. Like, I'll ride this out, right? Like, maybe. Yeah, like, kick some knowledge, dog. Nobody kicking no knowledge.
Not no more, they ain't. You know what I mean?
Like, even a cat like Kendrick, who is definitely speaking from a position of knowledge.
Yeah, he ain't
kicking knowledge.
Ain't nobody kicking knowledge like that no more. You know what I'm saying?
You got the knowledge.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody, talking about the supreme mathematics and none of that no more.
They still out here though, boy.
They 100% still out here.
They out here. They still got
that. Not happening on rap songs no more.
Nah. They still got their little storefronts, right? Little churches out here. You walk up and down. I think it's on Lenox. You run up on one of those like around 127 or something like that. It's like, oh, y'all still over here.
I believe it, man.
Hey, man, but speaking of kicking knowledge, the boy Wally Sparks been out here kicking knowledge with us for the last month and change. Brother, I appreciate it. I want to make sure people know twitch.tv/DJ Wally Sparks. Wally be over there cutting up. Catch him in Atlanta. DJing, catch him with the arts, beats, and lyrics. If that comes to your city, go check it out. Wally's going to be there spinning. You was just up there with KLC and Manny Fresh over the weekend. Man, that was fun, bro. Oh, man, it was so much fun. Like, yeah, and Mia X was on stage with us, too. So I was this past weekend here in Atlanta. The Art Beats and Lyrics show, pardon me, took place, and man, it's probably like 4,000 people in there, bro. And KLC from Beats by the Pound and Drum Majors, Medicine Men, etc., and Manny Fresh, they kind of did like a dueling DJ set where KL would be playing stuff that he made, like No Limit records that he made, and other stuff that he produced, Ludacris Move, Bitch, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And Manny was playing obviously the Cash Money stuff, and they just going back and forth, kicking this banter or whatever, and it was so good, so good, and I really, really, really appreciate that they just didn't stick to the hits, and they went and
played the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, KO played the Fiend, Mr. Want, and I was like, yes. Yeah. And then Manny played Drag Him in the River. I was like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a good time, man. So, shout out to the whole Art Beats and Lyrics team, man. It is a great event. If it does come to your city, we'll actually be in New York soon. So I definitely holler at you when I get up there.
Hey, let me know, brother. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 4 days a week. Ryan Brumley handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit the voicemail line 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.